This is your weekend market review for Friday, February 28th, 2025. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. Your weekend market review for Friday, February 28th, 2025. Last day of February. All right, let's get into it. Talked about today being a epic buying opportunity going into the end of the month, new money, window dressing. Typically what follows when you're down going into an end of a month, and especially the start of the month, potentially new money that comes in. Now, again, I still think in time we will head lower because of all the economic things that are going on. We've talked about ultimately how you have to be on red alert that job cuts are going to increase, the economy is going to slow because of government spending. There's going to be a reset period, right? So if you're aware of that and you understand this, well, then again, you know the trend will not always move. You know, there'll be counter trends essentially, right? It always won't move in one direction. So now we've hedged shorts. We've got some longs actually in some positions. We'll talk about those. And if you followed on the Discord room, hot diggity damn. If you followed on Twitter, hot diggity damn. You also followed on StockTwits, probably hit some of that. So again, let's get into it. So next week, light week until basically the end of the week, Friday, jobs number. That sets up easy for some potential counter moves the first 3 days of the month, essentially. That's what I'd be guessing. And again, when I say counter moves, I'd be expecting up. If you go check out the Stock Traders Almanac, you do have, sorry, I just flipped all the way to, you should be expecting some up, right? I apologize. I get the wrong date. It's like, come on, Dan. Do your job. Do your job well. You ever make mistakes? Come on, guy. No, we know that the start of February, or sorry, the start of March, you have a bull day, a bear day, and then a bull day on Wednesday. It's typically, again, the first day of March, again, I've been trading 20 plus years. There's 3 days of the month that I feel, or 3 days of the year that are always bullish. 1st of March, 1st of the year, July, like the first day, whatever that is, and then the 1st of October. Why? I don't know. Just always seems like that. So going into Monday, don't expect anything other than potentially up. Now, again, if it chops around, don't be surprised either. Nice close. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Again, don't hesitate to reach out. Economic data, jobs on Friday. Not really much earnings. You got like some Nordstrom and Best Buy and Costco, but mostly earnings is over. So let's get into it even deeper. If you'd like to chat, well, actually, let me do some advertising. Sorry, Friday, long day, busy. Yeah, if you'd like to chat, 30-minute link. Let me know. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're looking for help in trading, you're looking for help with the markets, again, use the 30-minute calendar. Let's chat. Also follow, like, subscribe on Twitter. Again, posting trades and idea. Man, some of these were bangers. Absolute bangers today. Absolute bangers. Again, you can go through it and see it. Some of the Tesla stuff, MicroStrategy, yada, yada, yada. Again, congrats. Also, if you'd like to donate on YouTube, you can do that, or in the links in the description below. But again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, I appreciate it. Again, I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm excited because, again, I think this is going to be a really easy trade. And I'm hoping people who are newer to the channel start to recognize this. Like, you have to understand counter trends, especially if you're shorting. Same thing when you're long, right? All or nothing trading is dangerous. That's why you level in, you level out, you hedge, you manage your positions. And again, stuff we talk about in the Discord room. If you have questions, that's why you should reach out. Again, tradingagent.com. Tons of resources. This is what we do. This is what we do. Turn profits into properties and passive income. Check it out. Tons of stuff. If you need to talk Traders Almanac, here you go. Booyaka shot. All right, we know going into March, there's a rate meeting at the 19th, which there's going to be nothing that's going to happen. Again, this is crept up just a little bit, but at this point, I don't think it's going anywhere. Bitcoin, we talked about I've been saying this, like oversold. Now, don't get me wrong. It still could get back down to this level. But here's the thing, right? You get a couple days where you go from 101 down to 82. I mean, that's a 20% pullback. Don't be sitting here thinking that it can't go lower, but also don't be sitting here thinking it's just going to go in a straight line move. I personally think if Bitcoin bounces, I'd be watching the 90,000. That would be a 50% retracement of this move as well. Again, personally, I'm sorry, Bitcoin bulls. We break the channel lows. It feels like this is going lower. 70,000 area seems like first support minimum. I've seen regression tables that take you back to the primary trend line, which is way the F down here in the 20,000 plus range. I would hate that for every bull, but you don't learn your lesson, you don't learn your lesson. That's what trading does. Oil, as we talked about, I don't really see a ton of downside near term, but also don't see upside at this point. So give it a little bit of time. That's all. Be patient here. Again, I think you can buy oil on massive pullbacks when the market bottoms. Natural gas, again, we like long term, just chop it around. Again, we like commodities. If you learn anything on the channel, long term, I like commodities. I like to short tech. Now, again, if I hedge, I'm going to potentially long tech, but it makes sense. Why, right? Right? Makes sense? Because if, again, that's how you hedge your bets. If you're short the market, then you can go long certain tech names as hedges. Hopefully this is all very obvious and clear. If it's not, check it out. Dollar, we talked about, channel lows, holds the 200-day. Wow. Right back to the channel high. Perfect channel. Good stuff. TLT, booyah. Said rates are going lower, folks. Here you go. Waiting for today's PCE information. Again, nailing it. Leave a comment below if you're trading this stuff, because there's been, I mean, again, you know how when you get on fire? We're on fire, right? We're nailing everything. 200-day seems next. Again, I think rates will go lower in time. It's not going to be a straight line move, right? We might wait around for the jobs number next week. It's very possible that stair step up, right? This is what you'll do, right? You go up, a couple days chop. Go up, pull back a little bit, pop up, chop. You see what I'm saying? You see how this looks? Like, don't get crazy, okay? Don't get crazy. TLT, great trade. Buy it on dips. I think you're good for now. But again, don't chase. If you chase, it just pisses me off because it's like, why would you do that? We don't recommend it ever. VIX, I know some people who shorted the VIX today. Like the trade, made sense. Look at this trap. Gets above the recent highs. Up near 21 and gives it back. Keep an eye on it. SPY guy. Look at that close, right? Kapow. Look at this. We talked about these levels. This is why we do this. We draw this stuff out. Look at this. That's why I'm always saying, like, don't bring a ruler to trading and watch the levels. Again, you can bounce $1 or $2 depending on the stock. Not necessarily, I mean, the SPY $1, but you know, a 1% or less kind of thing, like around an area. It doesn't mean that's the thing. You never know who is capitulating and puking up at points. And again, as the VIX is higher, then you can see capitulation traps that are 3 and 4 or 5%. Well, typically with the index, if you have a bull trap, bear trap, you're going to get a couple points. Not percentage-wise. I mean, it all varies, but again, VIX matters, right? Volatility matters, and the volatility is spiking. You should expect bigger traps and wicks. Here, speaking of wick, right? We talked about this area down in the 500 plus sub zone. Look at that rally, dude. You go oversold. Don't sit here and say, "Oh, I didn't feel like I wanted." You drop, almost 10% in 7 days. Don't be surprised if this is the thing. We bounce back to this 100-day. Maybe by the time the 50 days curling down, who knows? But I'd be watching 515. I would just bet I could almost. Yeah, I wonder if I can do this. I can make the border thicker, and let's change a different color. Like hopefully you can't miss it, right? I would not be surprised if we got back to that 515. Got it? Take notes. Don't forget. Okay? You're welcome. Because I'm putting it in there. 515. I'm writing this in my journal real big. 515. Because again, I've got some SQQ that I hedged. Sold some calls on it. Perfect. I'd love to see it. I mean, that's kind of what I've been thinking. But again, that's why I do these weekend recaps so you can show you guys what I'm thinking. IWM, we talked about this trapping potentially. Look at that. Closes at the highs. Near term, looks like you have upside. New money, new month. Remember, first and last 3 business days of the month. If you go watch my education videos, which again, maybe 1% of people do, fine. The 1% that do know what I'm talking about. It's called window dressing, new money, new month. DIA, chop it around the 100-day. Not really much to say there. Gold, we talked about this one. I love gold long term, but don't be surprised when it starts pulling back. Middle up, we're hitting the 2 times range, monthly upside target. Again, throwing the baby out of the bathwater. There you go. Silver, same thing. Miners all get lumped into this. I mean, long term, I like this stuff, but I've almost cursed. Almost swore. No way in hell I'm buying silver or the miners yet. I need to let the market do what it's going to do because I think they're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They're going to throttle these things. If I'm wrong, it's fine. It's a longer term. It's going to be a multi-year cycle. I'm not too concerned about it, but I've seen this before. Keep an eye on this stuff. Again, it's oversold near term. Not surprised it gets a bounce, right? AEM. Man, look at that dividend day. If you would have played these, that's a good bounce. 93. I mean, some of these names got, again, we talked about these names got volatility. AG, not so much. This one sucks. Newmont. Like, Dan, you're being real honest today. Yeah, feeling good. 50-day, chopping around. This is the thing, right? We talked about this move. You bought this, you get overbought, you pull back. 50-day. Again, this is where now you watch the 50-day in the future, right? Does this make sense? Once you see moving averages start to act as support resistance, they become trend setters, trend confirmers. PAAS, chopping around, not too concerned about it. Taiwan semi, let's get into tech because this is where I think you're getting the best. You might get some decent bounces. Not all, again, I don't think chips are going to bounce as well as some of the other tech names that we're talking about that I'm trading. Look at this thing. I mean, bow. Now it bounces. Maybe 200-day, maybe back up to 190. Keep an eye on it. Micron goes from channel high, 200-day, flop, back down to channel low. Now what? Yeah, you get chop around. This is what I think is probably going to happen. Now, when I say chop around, at the lows, it probably could bounce, right? Like I'm throwing that, lumping that in there. Hope you recognize, right? It could do this. It could do this. It could do that. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense? Okay, AMD. AMD is one of these stocks where everybody convinced it's cheap, and it just keeps getting cheaper. And the only people arguing for its cheapness are retail traders. So they're looking at some of the metrics, but somebody obviously knows more than them, and they can't stop selling this thing. Can't stop, won't stop. Take that, take that, take that. Now oversold, 20 days seems to be something. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I know the AMD guys they hate this video. They hate me talking about it. Like, I don't trust it at all. The short of the century, the short of the year, I mean. Not surprised, bounces back some post earnings. Yeah, this thing, dude, what a gift this would be. If you get a chop and you get back up in this 133 area, oh my God. Maybe even trend line. Oof, 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 oof. Short it. In my opinion. SMCI, again, they've got issues. Who knows what numbers are real or not. Back to the channel low. This is why you draw this stuff. You go from 66 down to 40. Probably due to bounce. Nice trade if you want to play it. Intel. We talked about this one. I'm not really a big fan of it. Other than it was a dead cat bounce. We'll see. I don't think it gets bought out for a premium. AVGO. AVGO's got to be on your short list. If Apple's going to be making their chips just like them and competing, again, they make, if I correct me if I'm wrong, someone think correct Bluetooth chips and stuff for that connectivity with devices not looking. I mean, dude, if Apple's going to do their own, everyone's doing their own at some point. Keep an eye on it. SMH, we talked about this thing, right? Kapow, Kelly Kapowski. Now I'd be watching what happens. I mean, man, that's a very 260 down to 225. Again, 50% of that is somewhere around the 200-day. That's what I'd be watching. Keep an eye on this stuff. Again, I don't think semis are going to bounce as well. Just my personal opinion. Adobe. I don't even know why you would trade it here. I'd be watching it 20. I mean, some of these names, just you could sit here and you could, if you don't know, just move on. People don't recognize. Like if you're staring at a stock and you're trying to figure out what it's going to do and you don't know, go find another fucking stock. Oh, I swore. Dang it. Apples we talked about. If you shorted up here, congrats. You get the overdue bounce. Cool. I mean, not overdue, but with the market, man. This is again. Retest. If you get another retest, oh man, that would be an absolute gift. Does this make sense? Absolute gift. Whew. I'm just sitting here going, man, if that got to that, oh my God, I would be flipping out. Big candle today. I'm just like, I'm pretty impressed. Again, we talk about tech getting the bounce. Amazon's one of the ones you could trade here. We like this at this range. I mean, don't be surprised to get up to 220. Maybe the 20-day, 50-day combo coming down with cheese. That would be a solid one. That's what I'd be looking for. Meta, this thing had been riding high. Now it's holding the 50-day. I don't know, probably the 20-day. Again, we talked about this is a recurring pattern. Once the 20-day starts curling down, it becomes resistance. Bada boom, bada bing. CRM, this one's oversold. Talked about this one probably due to bounce, but didn't hit the 200-day, so don't have much to say on it. I like references. If I don't get the references, I just wait. Google hits the reference. Talked about this today. Said you'll probably trade this around, 168, 170. Not bad. I mean, you didn't get the exact low, but the blue zone was there for a reason. Keep an eye on these stuff. Microsoft, again, I feel like this one's not going to bounce as well, but you are at the range lows. Look what happens. You get the bounce. Right? I'd be watching the 20-day. Got it. NDAQ, again, I like this for a short a lot. Just chopping, holding up. I don't like how it's turning into a range. Yeah, I'd be watching the 84s. MicroStrategy, again, here we talked about waiting. waiting to exhale. Said this many times to folks. Nobody would listen. Said, man, by the time you're chopping down there at this range low, you might as well wait for the damn 200-day. Dink, hit it to a freaking T. Nice bounce. Again, congrats. Now I'd be watching to see if it can get back up to, say, 315. I mean, there's a lot of spots here that I would keep an eye on, especially that it could get tired in. I'd be watching this area here, 290s. That's just the first one. Netflix, keep an eye on it. Again, I'm happy for folks who are trading it. Chopping around, this one's oversold near term. I mean, I guess not really. That's where, again, you got to pick the right tech, in my opinion. I think there's certain names that look better than others. They've been crushed, right? Roblox holds the range lows back to the 50-day. Just watching it. Pan W, talked about this one. I like this long term. I just don't know if it's going to go anywhere near term. Chopping around. Good old Tesla. Bada boom, bada bang. Speaking of 200-day, you bet your sweet ass. We talked about this one. Things oversold. Again, whether you like Elon or not, I don't give a shit. That's not the point of this video. This video is trading, and this is I mean, you go from 480 down to 270, what, 3? Yeah. Again, even if it's just a bounce for 10, 20 points, what a damn gift. Congrats. That's, I mean, again, I know a few folks who took it. Hell yeah. Insight. Again, I like this thing to get bought out. Not really much on it. Just patience. Hymns. Here's another one that then slammed. Due to bounce. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not excited about hymns. Maybe the gap fill. But again, you could probably get 10% out of it. I mean, you're going to get, 9% today. I was going to say, you got moved. Palantir, this is one I would be excited about. Look at this. You bought it here at the like 79, 80 level. I mean, why not? Why the fudge not? Get back into the 90s. No doubt. It's possible. Easily. Baba, again, this one probably to me looks like it's more going to be hanging out, chopping. I personally wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. Take two. Holding up pretty well near the highs. Again, these names that are holding at the highs, I don't really trust them as much unless they break through. If they don't break through, they just look like chop cycles. They might not have much in them. Mickey D's chopping around like this one to, I don't know, just a watch around 312, 310. DKNG, again, just talked about this is a bull trap. Probably due to bounce, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised either. It's a piece, in my opinion. They're not going to, again, I'm not really much of a fundamental trader, but I try to explain, but like there's going to be issues potentially with certain stocks. ARB, NB, another one that just popped and flopped. Costco. Earnings next Thursday, holding up pretty damn well. If it holds up pretty well, it'd probably run up into earnings. I mean, you got a nice move. Starbucks, again, I like the short around here into this blue zone. Being patient, but I mean, honestly, the easiest short would be break the 110, but see what happens here. Again, I personally think this is a good short at some point. FedEx, we've talked about this one just chopping its way down lower. I'm trying to think of where the best action would probably be the 50-day. Caterpillar, this one broke the range lows, right? Now what? If you want to play a trade here, I think you could get some points in it. Yeah, I'm trying to, again, I try to think about repeating patterns and I just stare at it a little bit. It feels like, I think there's a channel here. Yep, there you go. Booyah. You're welcome. I think you can play that. Now, again, will we go back to the range highs? No, but I think you're going to get some points. Deere has been holding up pretty well. Again, post earnings, chopping around, watching the 20-day. Nucor, we like the steel names, right? Zoom out. You know, they feel like they bottom, but they're just going to be games. Again, these are names that I would, again, if you ask me what I would hold long term, it wouldn't be tech. It'd be these names. It'd be the commodity material names. X, I get bought out at some point, I guess. I don't know. VALE, chopping around. We talked about you bought this at the lows. Congrats. Don't be surprised to pull back a little bit. Okay. Be watching this 50-day, 9 area, 915. Arrow. Oh, my alarm. It's getting close. Damn doji. Get me a little lower, please. I'd like this one. I like junior copper a lot, but I'd like it better when the market gets slapped around. CCJ, chopping around again. I mean, I don't know the right answer, so I don't really know what to say here. Like, I like these names long term, but I want to see weakness. I want to buy weakness on these names. Does that make sense? CF, chopping around. Mosaic, chop around. NTR, I'm not even like allowing mine to play. Chop around. AA Aeron, again, we like aluminum. Let's let them play out. Man, XLF got a decent little bounce today. Got to give it credit. Again, don't have any shorts on this other than JP Morgan puts, but it's holding up pretty damn well. JP Morgan, speaking of the devil, speaking of, Jamie Dimon sold a fudge ton of shares. I feel more confident about this when the market starts pulling back. But again, more in time, in my opinion, that one will be fine. I got June puts. Again, other financials, be careful with them. Morgan Stanley, bouncing 100-day. Bank of America seems to be, I mean, that's a solid bounce. Man, these could be choppy ranges. That makes sense. Like, you could be, a lot of these names could be playing this game, depending on what they've got to the left. See, like, these zones matter. That's why we draw them. Goldman Sachs, I can draw them in like 3 seconds. I could just, all I have to do is look at the screen. Yep. Look at this. Look. Due to bounce. Okay, we'll see what happens. Carry, due to bounce, right? Got to do it, whatever. This one just looks ugly. I don't even know what to say. XBI, you know, I have to have a strong opinion on all of them. This one we talked about, risk on name for junior bios. It just seems to be stuck. I mean, it's range lows due to bounce. Cool. Jets, this is another one that I'm kind of just laughing at. It feels like it should break here at some point. Keep an eye on it. 100-day chop around. XHB housing stocks, right? Chop around at the lows. I mean, if rates go a little lower, I mean, you should see a bounce in these names. It looks like technically a double bottom, so you could trade it, right? You can see this, whatever you want to call that, double bottom. I don't know, maybe you get back up to 112. I don't know. Solar, man, solar just get punished. I mean, it's like, I don't even know the right term to say. It just all looks bad. You short pops, you win on this stuff. Oh God, ENPH, maybe it's on its way to 12, 15. And shorting that one in 330s. Remember that one? First Solar again. I think First Solar is the stronger of all of them, but it's pain. Choo choo. HYG. Here's one we talk about, right? Like, you got to be out of your mind about corporate debt. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it doesn't really make sense to me to buy up here. You got to be kind of wild. Oil chopping around. Not a big fan of just. Again, I like these names on pullbacks. I just have to be patient. It's like waiting for the cues the bottom day. Let it play out. UNG, choppy, right? Again, I don't like this product. The KOLD, if you shorted this thing in the 80s and you took profits, what did I say last couple days? Like, oh, it'd probably do to bounce. Watch what happens. Maybe 30, 35, and then you can short it again. You're welcome. XOP, range lows, holding. We'll see. Again, I mean, you can buy these names if you really want to trade it. I just think tech is just going to catch that weird bid because it got absolutely just throttled. CVE, again, we like junior gas names. Just, again, let them play out, man. Valero, we talked about gasoline names, typically bottom first, top first. Okay, see what happens here. I mean, a lot of them look like they're just chopping around, which that's basically the premise ready, for the rest of this. BP, like we like BP at 29, runs up to 35. Chop around the 200-day, keep an eye on it. Because, again, if they flush the market later on, these names really aren't immune. But we'll see. Again, depends on how high the VIX gets. Chop around. Occidental, again, Buffett ain't going to lose. We'll see. Maybe it needs a chop base. Again, these are one of these names where you put in your portfolio, you stuff it away. You just talk about it in 2 or 3 years. Or you just wait. Because we'll be on it. I promise you, we will be on this stuff. And EUT... breaks out, gives it back. It's probably going to retest the breakout at some point. And last but not least, your girl, Flex LNG with the 11% dividend. Again, personally, I love this stuff. Be careful, though, near term. So, again, next week, should expect some bounce early in the week. Remember, jobs days are typically dojis. Again, these are things that we talk about, recurring patterns. If you don't understand this stuff, I'm telling you, subscribe to the channel. Reach out. Let me know how I can help. Again, and if you're looking at real estate stuff, you better get a pro on your side. Don't use your Uncle Larry or your Aunt Sally. I'm telling you, man, this stuff is going to be volatile. All right, appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.